clear my gullet. It's all that Zaxby's.
All the Zaxby's you just choked down?
Yeah, I was hungry.
Choke that chicken.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna have to have a blooper reel for this one. Where it just cuts.
Beep.
More work for you, Nathan. Chop, chop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that.
Yeah, he's gonna cut it like he usually. I
And
swear to God, that was gonna hit the camera. Welcome to a choking chicken episode of Effing Movie Podcast. Squirt. I'm your host, Dylan. With me, also your host, as always, Dylan, and Dylan. They thought
That was the first one.
I got him. No, it's Mason, Nathan, and Price. Not necessarily in that order.
Yep.
Seldom more.
Yeah. We talk about movies here on this podcast most of the time. What movie are we talking about today, Bryce?
We are doing The Incredibles, the 2004 movie.
What's the French version?
Pixar. We're not going to do that joke on here.
Yeah.
Les Incredibles.
Les Incredibles.
Honestly, this joke has had some legs. It's been going on all
Yeah,
week.
it has
It
been.
shouldn't. But I will say that I picked this movie because I thought that this was going to be like... I haven't seen this movie in so long. Thought it was going to be an awesome thing to revisit. Everybody said it was going to be me returning to form with my picks on movies because it fits the early, like the first season category. So, I guess we'll see. This is my first rewatch of it. I don't even know how long.
What is this movie about?
Yeah, give us that summary there.
This
boyo.
movie is about an aging superhero named Bob Parr, but known as Mr. Incredible.
I like to call him Bob.
The first 15 minutes of the movie is basically a flashback showing how superheroes used to be in vogue pretty much. But then a lot of lawsuits happen. It's kind of like reality. It's kind of like that age-old, what if superheroes were real kind of thing. They get hit with lawsuits, stuff like that. They shut the superhero program down. Fast forward to present times, and Bob is leading an unfulfilled life as a claims adjuster. I don't know. Was it adjuster?
Some kind of
Insurance
Yeah.
claims, yeah.
Something like that. He's married to Elastigirl, Helen. We will definitely get to that.
Don't worry, the movie does.
They have three kids, Jack,
Dash.
Violet, and Dash.
Yeah.
Jack is an infant baby, and then basically the story takes off when Mr. Incredible gets a call to come save the world from a robot, and he answers it. So I'll leave it at that.
Hijinks
That's basically the
ensue.
synopsis. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Dylan, you always say the first thing.
So, I got a couple thoughts on this. I put on the French subtitles for this movie.
I almost did.
I actually did. Obviously, it's English vocal, but I wanted to see what the French titles were. I didn't understand a word that was written into this movie. Just a fun side note.
But you know sign language. Why didn't you put it in sign language?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that doesn't work for us.
So put it in Braille.
Yeah. Well, that works even less on a screen,
Scroll to
Mason.
the TV.
Yeah. That's how you mess up my very expensive monitor. I want to talk about looks with this movie. This is where I kind of want to do the starting point.
People look horrendous.
This movie is not as pretty as it once was.
I think.
Oh, yeah.
I still think it looks good. Like the effects and everything, I thought looked really good. Still, I was very much watching that. Like when Dash is running on water, the explosions. I thought all that looked good, but the humans, which the movie's focused on, look horrendous.
Yeah.
The humans aren't great. Also, the world is very simplistic, especially in the city and stuff. The scenes where they're fighting the robot, there is not a lot around at all.
No. It's very empty city spaces. Right?
Yeah, it's very just empty, basic, bare bones
Cars,
sets.
not
And,
really float people.
I just remember particularly a scene where tanks were rolling up to shoot at it, and it's just
Later they were gone.
Murder bot.
yeah, well, and it was just I don't know, it looked like it was from some older video game or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like in fact, I know I played a game called Disney Infinity for a while where those robots were in it, and I feel like they looked just as good as they did in the movie, which is not saying much because that game visually was not great.
This was 2004.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's so far out of the way bad that it's oh my god, this is Lawnmower Man or anything like that.
Well, and I don't think it distracts from the movie, and that's really...
It distracted me a little bit in this one, but Mason, you've been trying to jump in here for a second.
Well, the only thing that I could see, like, especially with, like, how the humans looked, this movie, and maybe every animated movie does this, and I just am trying to pick at this one a little bit.
I can help you.
Every single, like, character had a certain body shape that was just huge, or very, very, very skinny, or very, very, very short. The only people that were, like, normal size was Dash and, like, Violet. And, like, it's like they just didn't want to tamper with that. But, like, Bob, massive unit, huge.
Yeah.
Ida, Edna.
Absolute unit.
Edna, yeah.
Edna was the tiniest person in the world.
Edna
Obviously,
and Dash actually kind of
Buddy-
similar models, so because I feel
Yeah.
like their heads are a little exaggerated and their bodies are like
Maybe a little bit out of
too
proportion.
irrelative to their heads.
But
yeah.
I thought that that's where you guys were going
And
with that.
Bob's boss. He was awesome.
Yeah, the tiny little guy.
Yeah, yay, dude.
He had big, huge hands.
Huge hands.
I remember that because like he does like
Yeah,
it needed
like-
to mesh.
Yeah.
It's like damn.
Charlie's uncle jealous of that man's hands.
Yeah.
No, so and of course we have to talk about Elastigirl, right?
First thing.
Why?
Yeah,
on
That's the
earth?
first thing.
Yeah, you do. Because when you're watching this movie and you're seeing some of these people be like the skin just looked very Stretch Armstrong-y at times. I think would be like the way I would describe it. And then when we have literal Stretch Armstrong, it is just I don't know how I forgot how sexualized, like on the nose sexual they were with her on this one.
Yeah.
But when she's getting caught in the doors and it's just stretching her out, and I'm just saying that actually is enough. But I was just like, and then there's the moment where she like looks herself in the mirror, and I'm just like, oh fuck you, Rule 34 artist. Like,
I mean, what they're doing, like, I know what they're going for is for her to like see herself and be like, man, when I was in my prime,
Right,
like I look so
it's
much
a
better.
classic mom look, right?
But then we know where.
But admittedly, then we're like, we know where that's going now, right?
Well,
Right.
and also, like, I don't know, towards the first, like, third of this movie, whenever Bob kept leaving the house, she would, like, grab him and, like, stretch around him and, like, kept pulling him
During
back.
that happy
It's a lot of
montage.
sexualizing,
Yeah.
like,
Oh
things.
yeah. There's also the part where she's like, like at the beginning, she's like, I need you to be a little bit more flexible, and
Yes.
she like climbs all over him like, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do appreciate that this was like the definitive movie of Pixar people coming out and saying, yeah, we know we built her like a fucking like truck in the back, but that's
Dump truck.
They're like, it's intentional because we can't go over the top with like boobs to show that she's a woman, so we give her fucking dump truck asses and wide hips to sit there and kind of put that emphasis out there, and that's like an official like statement from like one of the animators and stuff. So I do appreciate their transparency, even if times where I'm like, man, they weren't as subtle as I remember thinking it was about that. I remember thinking like, man, we're all a little bit perverted for doing this to her. And then the door scene happened, and I'm like, no, they wanted this.
Yeah.
They encouraged us.
Yeah, they were asking for it.
Yeah, they were. Aw.
To further that though, I think that this movie was the movie that allowed Pixar, not really allowed, but like showed where Pixar was going to go. that it would do these more adult kind of movies. Like previously they were like primarily aimed at kids, like, and there were the few like adult kind of jokes and stuff before that, but
there was a simpler idea.
This was also the time where I think this was Brad Bird's, the director's, first movie that he directed for Pixar, and allowed him to do Ratatouille, which is easily my favorite, and I think he's done some more with them, but this movie I think shows that Pixar can get away with doing these movies that like have adult themes in them but are still kind of targeted towards kids. Like, I think there's a lot going on under the surface of Incredibles that laid the groundwork for like Ratatouille and WALL-E and Soul and those kind of movies. Because before this, it was like really kids marketed towards.
Question: is Incredibles 2 better than this one?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm. It's got Bob Odenkirk in it too, so believe me, I'd be biased, and it's definitely not.
I couldn't remember. I've seen it. But as I was watching
that shows how memorable it is.
Right, I've seen it and forgot it, so I already.
I don't remember.
I know I've seen 2.
Well,
it's only 4 years old. It came out in 2018.
Right.
No way.
Yeah, because it was a big deal when 2 got like.
Well, it was a huge deal.
Yeah.
Wait, is there not been a 3?
No.
Okay.
It does feel like that there's
alright.
been a 3 though, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. Like, I was like
that's where I was thinking.
I'm like, wait, there hasn't been a 3,
like,
right? Like,
I was thinking, like, I know I'd seen the most recent one, and I was assuming that had to be like the third one,
right.
Because
it was 14
because
years
of the
later.
huge gap in time.
I won't
Yeah.
lie. I still get randomly hung up on the fact that there's a Toy Story 4 that I haven't watched. Like, there's
I haven't
Yeah.
seen it either.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to, even if I know it's good. It's just like
I've heard it's really good.
and I know I heard it's really good too. But Toy Story 3 was kind of like such a good trilogy that I'm like, oh fuck, I don't want to. You could have done something else.
So my question with that though was
Mhm.
like as I was watching this movie, I've only ever seen this movie one time before now,
Mhm.
and I didn't remember hardly anything from it besides the guy looked like Heat Miser from like the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer thing.
Yeah.
It's basically
Yeah,
Heat
Syndrome.
Miser.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was a
Syndrome.
Crimson Chin from Fairly Odd Parents.
No, I just watched that. No, but so my thing was like with this movie, not enough happened in the original Incredibles, like the family kind of like teaming up at the very end. It seemed like it was way too late in the game. So I was actually sitting there thinking, well, I bet the Incredibles 2 was a lot better because this is just
They just kick it off. Family
yeah,
time,
maybe this
right?
is just too much setup or something like that. Bob didn't even do anything hardly.
Speaking on that, on this rewatch as an adult, I realized just how awful a person he really is.
He's not
Yeah,
good.
he's not good.
Mr. Incredible, he's a pretty gross guy.
Yeah. He is a selfish fridge, that man.
He really is, and he lies to his family all the time.
He lies to Syndrome. He was gonna snap that his little assistant, and then she didn't, and Syndrome was like, "See," and then she was like, "Ugh." But also, she's animated really well, which goes to show where the priorities were. I see you, Pixar. Oh, 4
Mirage.
team. Yeah. He's not so fantastic.
No, not at all.
No, not such a great guy. Why is he a hero? Also, there was something about the cops not blasting Frozen. I thought was unrealistic if this was built in America.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
jewelry shot with all
Yeah.
those people.
When they have their guns out
Yeah.
and he's talking, I'm like, I get it. This is Pixar, but no. Like,
That was a little bit much.
That was-
a gun, period.
Yeah,
in a
like,
Pixar
it was a little
movie.
racy, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and in that
two of
situation, no matter what, if you're not immediately complying with the cop, he's
they're
gonna
blasted.
shoot you.
Yeah.
I've got a question for us later if you don't got one.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine.
Right.
Is it gonna be an actual good question or a funny question?
No, it's a good one.
I don't
Well,
believe
and
it.
it's objectively funny, but
I want to mention the other gun as well, the machine gun, where he was trying to shoot Violet underneath the water whenever she was like invisible.
oh yeah, there was.
He
a
was just like,
machine gun.
like, I'm gonna
kill you, you
I'm gonna
little
kill his
shit.
arm.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was insane.
Yeah.
This movie was all over the radar. Like it was insane.
You know what I think my biggest problem with this movie is the focus on the fucking robots. I feel like this movie could have been so much more focused on Syndrome, and it had the Syndrome bit, and not the killer robot weapon. Family has to come together to fight, and then make that the thing. I think it could have been Syndrome, and then cut off 20-something minutes of this movie.
I didn't even like Syndrome.
I
If anyone
I
wants to
love
tell
him.
me that he's a great villain, go on.
I don't think
He's
he's
not that
I don't
good.
think, I don't
No,
think he's
I
a
don't
great
think so.
villain, but he's at least got a layer or two.
A layer.
I think it's really just supposed to highlight flaws in Mr. Incredible.
Right.
Which you
Like,
can see by
that's what it's
yourself.
all about. Is
Yeah.
just
That's true.
his character.
Like he told Buddy to go home one time,
Mhm.
and he turned
He's
into
like,
a fucking.
I'm gonna
Heatmiser.
fucking
And
murder
he
him.
killed every superhero,
Yeah.
gunned them down with his robots.
Right.
I don't like Syndrome. Every time he was on the screen, I was like, okay, this guy's got small man syndrome.
Mhm.
He's got issues. He doesn't even have powers, but he's using technology.
If Syndrome was your sexual awakening, let me know in the comments below, because
Please.
apparently there's a couple of y'all out there, and it's
It
interesting.
can't be more than 2.
I knew at least 2 on Twitter, so
Oh, God.
maybe it's the 2. I don't know. So you know who you are, but you just give this a thumbs up if you knew. Right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, all sexual awakenings aside in this movie, which there are some other arguments I can see for that, but I mean, thinking of the other characters with it. Bob's a fucking tank.
Oh, God.
Do you have an attraction to things
just
larger than
that
your house?
odd.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You could probably get into a weird gore fetish if you want him to be or vor fetish if you want him to eat you or something. You know, look how big he is. Why wouldn't you think it's a possibility? That man looks like he could unhinge his jaw and swallow you, Nathan. I don't want. Am I wrong? Anyway, back to
talk about something
Alright.
else.
yeah, we will. Why are there so many robots in this movie?
Love the voice cast in the movie. I really like everyone in it. I'm glad that they did this. I guess I don't know if this is really before the time, but I guess before. Well, I guess Pixar hasn't really done it too much. Where anyway, basically it's It's not no-name actors, but it's like B plus
Yeah, no,
celebrities
you're
who are doing
minus Samuel L.
voice
Jackson.
Yeah, minus Sam.
And like
Yeah.
maybe the guy from Poltergeist, because he's older. He's been in a lot of stuff. He was Bob.
Oh yeah. I
Oh,
guess
yeah,
so. But
yeah.
but still, the fact that you don't realize like, oh, that's like Beyonce or whatever,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
stuff like that. I
That's
like
Zac
that.
Efron. That's
Yeah.
Justin Bieber.
Like I can realize that like these are their own characters, which is nice. Which one thing I will say though, one of the characters, well, I'll just say who. I was gonna make it a question, but Elastigirl is voiced by the lady who's
Big
the,
sick mom.
yeah, the big sick mom.
That's
Okay,
the
y'all knew that
first
before I
person
did.
Holly
that came
Hunter,
on,
yeah.
and I knew it from as soon as she
Yeah.
said a word. I was like,
I honestly did
that's
not.
Holly Hunter. Yes.
I did not. I remember I gave the movie like a 1. So
That's
that
a-
movie is out of my mind.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
sad. There's a fun trivia bit with that too. So trivia fact that why am I doing Press's job? They actually animate Elastigirl with a little bit of the curve on her mouth because Holly Hunter's voice is like that because I think she's deaf in one ear or something like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, so they animate her mouth to match Holly Hunter's
could-
this
you
is
could
like
tell.
this, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's just a little extra nod to the voice actress that I'm like, good for you. I appreciate that little extra effort in the movie.
They put that extra effort into animating the mouth, but they did not do the character designs any favors.
Well, most of them.
One thing that stuck out to me as far as going back to animation and
Mhm.
such is the hair. Whenever it got wet, it looked like I don't know if you guys remember whenever the Tomb Raider games came out and there was the PhysX hair engine that.
Wait, we're talking the most recent ones?
No,
We're talking
the
classics.
originals?
the most recent series, but whenever that first came out,
Right.
they were really hyping up the hair engine.
Yeah,
And that it needed certain graphics cards to even be able to work.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's just what that reminds me of. It just looks like that kind of not very good
Wet,
early
very
days
stringy,
of using a computer to render hair.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly thought the hair was the best looking thing in the movie. I thought it all looked good.
Even
Violet's
the wet part,
even the wet part.
the rest
Violet's
of the time
hair
it
looked
was
really
fine.
good because it's really long. I thought that looked good, and it showed Bob's fading hairline and him balding. I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
I think the kids dynamic was one of the stronger suits in this movie, which
Mhm.
I don't feel like it's very hard to nail that though.
Yeah.
The dinner table scene.
Dinner table.
Dinner table scene. You think we were gonna talk about it? We all knew
It's
it.
shut up, you little insect.
Yes. The cave scene, all of the scenes with just Violet and Dash.
Yeah.
I mean, were pretty darn genuine, but again, I don't think it's very hard to master those.
Oh, give it time. There'll be a Violet Dash and Jack movie.
Well,
Oh,
and,
it'll be,
and speaking of that, that's what this movie feels like the whole time. Is it is making you want to see more
Yeah.
with those characters.
Mhm.
So it is so weird that it wasn't for 14 years
Yeah.
before they came out
That
with
we gotta
another
see.
movie.
And it wasn't even a direct Jack and
And The
sequel.
Incredibles was massive, which
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Jack's powers at the end, still uncertain.
Yeah.
It's whatever he really wants him to be. He seems to be just a plethora.
I think it clarifies it in the second movie, but I can't remember.
It does, but it's been a while.
Yeah, but we all forgot, so clearly it's not that good.
Well, and I watched it at a drive-in theater and was barely able to hear what was
Yep,
going
you
on.
got
that's why you can't.
0.75.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I don't go to drive-ins anymore. But so, am I wrong in saying that there's not really a lot of substance in the plot and characters of this movie, so to speak?
I really didn't think so either. That's the most disappointing part to me. Is I thought there would be a lot more to chew on with this movie, and there really wasn't. It was a really light popcorn.
I kind of
movie.
felt like that was going to be the case whenever it landed, which was kind of why I was about it, because I was just what's there to say about the I've watched it recently enough where I remember thinking there's not a lot to talk about with that movie. It's just and I feel like that's why we're so hung upon the visual aspect of it being an 04 Pixar film, is because that's really the meat of it. The characters don't really have crazy development or anything like that. At best, Dad gets okay development. He goes from being a bad person to an okay person.
But then he gets validated at the end, which makes me so mad. It's he's done all this awful
Yeah.
stuff, and his family comes to him, and they're getting they're strung up there, and he's apologizing and stuff, and Elastigirl seems to be accepting his apology and yeah, it's okay, yeah, you did good, that kind of thing. I'm no, just because he said one apology doesn't mean he's fine. And
but he's never apologized before. Let him have it, guys.
They
We gotta.
could have gone
That
a
was
lot of
awful.
different ways, up until the moment that he decided to secretly sneak away, because he went off, and then Elastigirl had to find out from Edna or something, like, where he was at.
The tracker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then from that moment on, they lead him to believe that they've gunned his family's plane down, which I thought was also kind of strange. It was just, from the moment that he snuck away, they could have they could have gone there as a family together. Now, I know that he didn't want his family involved, but they all have superpowers. Like, you kind of see this, I don't know. I don't think.
But it tried to make
Shane
it made it like a real life kind of situation. Like, if you are Mr. Incredible, are you going to bring your 6-year-old son
right.
and your...
I don't bring the kids,
I don't
but I
think
do
you know
maybe.
at all.
I do think you. Well, okay, so in this case, they don't want Elastigirl to know because she would tell them no, quit doing this whole washed up stuff, and I get but like I guess gun to my head if you're like, honey, we need to save the world. Like, all right, let's get a babysitter. Let's go fuck it up.
But he feels unfulfilled. That's the reason he's doing that.
I know.
And
So if he
doesn't-
brings her,
that's
then it
my
goes to
mindset
that.
on it is like he feels like he needs to be the superhero.
Right, but he
And-
isn't, and he's bad at it. I actually
Well,
think he's the worst
yeah.
superhero. Frozone was better.
Yeah,
At
like,
least he's-
Frozone was awesome.
I
Frozone.
think that's also kind of a problem with being that kind of superhero,
Right.
where it's like, what's your thing? I'm
Strong,
really strong.
I'm
I
really
guess.
strong, right. It kind of is like, kind of the gift and the curse of being. It's like the worst superpower, objectively speaking, because you're just like, what would you do with that modern day life?
I think shooting out fire would be a worse.
No. I think in
No.
modern day life, the practical applications of being able to shoot fire.
I'm talking about a
versus-
superhero saving people and your...
Well,
Oh,
you're not-
saving people.
You're not a
shooting.
hero.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
You've been
that's
pyro.
why
Yeah.
those are all the villains.
Fire people
Yeah.
always go to villainy because they're like, I
Exactly.
can't save people, I only burn.
Pyro went to the anti-side.
Right.
Now, you were talking about Frozone. I got a huge kick out of there at the end, where where they have the remote and they're trying to keep it away from the robot, and Dash is running away from the robot, and then Frozone scoops up Dash and is like starts skating away. Like, the kid is way faster. This makes no sense.
Yeah.
What good is this doing?
We just wanted to get some more use out of Samuel while he was in studio. Okay, so I will say though, there's one part that does like
The super suit.
yeah, the cape.
Yeah.
The cape segment.
Oh, cape.
The-
Okay.
yeah, it's not even so much the
I
suit.
thought you were
it's-
doing the "Where's my super suit?"
No, I like that part.
It's
yeah.
for the greater good.
That part doesn't land for me as much anymore, but like the cape segment where Edna or whatever is just like no capes, and she's like, well, and then she's just listing off all these murders by capes,
Yeah.
and I was just like, all
And
right.
you got to see one
Yeah.
happen right in front of you towards the end.
And then Syndrome dies because of the cape or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's
and I-
what
Gets chopped up by a...
Yeah, let's
airplane
not pretend he
blade.
doesn't just get fucking murdered to death. Like that, there's parts of Syndrome falling onto that family.
Yep.
Let's-
Oh yeah.
Can we just make sure
there's
we-
like viscera raining
Yeah.
down from above?
Yeah, like I was waiting to see like the red hair or like
Or
just
the
any-
chin.
Yeah, any of it.
Just another example of why Syndrome wasn't all that great. He just like bitched out and got camped out on top of a roof for
Yeah.
like the entire fight.
right, like
Yeah, he tried to use his robot. He got smacked.
And he got smacked,
and
which
that's
is
it.
fine. But like, if you're gonna make him menacing and like super smart and super confident, like I don't know, I just couldn't stand him.
This-
I couldn't stand
I
him.
know.
right.
you couldn't.
They painted him as competent for the first half, and then totally painted
And
him
he
as
got
before in
smacked.
the second half. Right, like
Yeah.
I don't appreciate the
But-
consistency. But I've got a question if we're ready to move on to that.
Yes.
All right. Well, here's the question.
Which guns was more jarring? Incredibles guns or what's the sequel?
Weathering with you.
Weathering with you. Or Weathering with You's guns.
I knew that's what you.
I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it
Weathering
coming.
with you, hands down. Like
Yeah.
that made no sense. It was like this teenage movie that was like, there's a gun and it's the main plot thing. Like,
But this is Pixar
Whoa.
superheroes aimed for children. Here's a gun being
They-
pointed at a black superhero.
They kind of lead up to it though with the
Small
car
girl.
chase scene. Like they're shooting at that guy. He's shooting back. It's like, oh, there's guns in this world. So it wasn't like the first time you see one is a policeman pointing a gun at a black man. That's
I mean,
not
yeah,
the
it just,
first
it
time
just
you see
happens.
it
right,
is hands down Weathering with You. At the same time, and I probably said it during the review, I feel like maybe that's a thing that makes more sense to a Japanese audience and is like not
Jarring.
as weird
Right.
as
and we're
it
just like,
seems.
what
Here in
else?
America, we're
what
like-
else you got?
And like, all of us start blasting our guns.
RPG just comes into the chat room.
Right.
No, so the thing was, I remember thinking about the Weathering with You. None of us really thought anything about it until one of us like brought it up and was like, you know what would have made this movie a lot better? No gun.
And then all of us were
And
like,
all of us were like,
yeah.
you know what? That's actually kind of true because that was so. It's not that it was jarring in the moment. It was just like, that could have done without.
It just, like, in that movie, it led to a lot of unnecessary
Exactly.
trouble.
It was unnecessary to begin with. And then
As
it
a
led to
plot
more
device, it's
unnecessary
definitely
stuff.
more impactful than Incredibles, but
Oh, sure.
yeah, because it has implications after following.
Yeah,
it for
like,
all that
the
time.
shooting bullets in The Incredibles is pointless. It's like,
They're shooting at
they're-
superheroes, most of which you probably wouldn't even die to it. Like,
well, they would, but they're not going
It
to.
takes-
For
well,
story
Elastigirl
reasons.
probably just rubbers it, and then the tank dad probably just eats.
No,
like,
the
eats it.
dad, like, got cut. Just
Yeah.
by,
He does
like,
get cut,
the
yeah,
claw
I
of
guess
the
so.
robot. So,
But I choose to
think
believe that's like a
bullets probably kill him.
I choose to believe that's, say, like Wolverine, like adamantium type metal that can cut him, and
okay.
it's not necessary. Well, because it's a murder bot. If it was a murder, like if bullets could, he would just have a gun. Like, you know, like it would just be full of.
robot
It would
would
just
have
be
a
miniguns.
gun.
Yeah, the
It
robot would
be
have a gun.
Rambo on
Yeah.
the back of a Jeep.
Right. I think if guns would actually hit the dad. That's
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could argue that was designed to kill heroes.
right.
So
So that,
maybe it does mean that it's more dangerous than a gun.
that's my headcanon anyway. I don't know. Let us know in the comments below if you think that that's bullshit and bullets can kill. Mr. What's his name?
Mr. Incredible.
Mr. Incredible. I keep wanting to say Fantastic. Fucking Fantastic Four.
All right, scores.
No, we gotta do Fat Thin.
Yeah, we got to do
idiot.
Fat Thin. How could you
Ah,
forget with the
dang
dad so fat?
Mm.
Fat Thin, perfectly fit. You know it, you love it, Mason.
I'll say it's a little bit fat. It's definitely chubby in the sense that, like, it was too much about Mr. Incredible, which I get. He is the dad
Yeah.
figure. He's Bob. He's this. He's that. Here's his job. Here's how much he hates his job. Here's how much he hates his manager guy. Like, I get all of that. It's just, this movie was not so much The Incredibles until 2/3 of the way through. And that 2/3 was pretty good. Even though I didn't like the villain, like, it was good. But I had to sit through the first 2/3 of it to get to that point, and it wasn't justified. It wasn't. I would shave a lot of the. Honestly, the happy
The montage.
montage. I could have honestly done without that. Like, I get it. They have a family.
You're
It's-
probably gonna have some good times in there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things early on.
Yeah.
I liked what this movie did though, with the like the camera reels and the news reels and the black and white and the interviewing processes and all this stuff. Like it threw a lot of that into it, maybe a little bit too much. So I wouldn't cut any of that. I liked that.
So this movie is like just under 2 hours or so. It's like hour 48, hour 50, something like that. And I'd probably cut maybe like a good 20 minutes or like 20-25 minutes even. Through 25 probably at most. And that's like almost a fourth of the movie.
Yeah.
So I have to say this is pretty fat. This is Dad the Tank fat, I think. Just
Is the
based
dump
on that.
truck fat though?
Oh, not that bad. Not that bad.
Dumpy fat.
Dumpy fat.
Dumpy.
Yeah, because just like honestly, I think like the killer robot segment goes on for a really long time too when we do get there, and I think you could have just had a sweet battle on Syndrome Island and then wrap the movie shortly afterwards, and all of it felt very extra just to go to the city. It's like in Jurassic Park 2 when they go to San Diego. I'm like, wait, why are we in San Diego? There's fucking dinosaurs. It's just I'm left very confused. I would just cut it to save it.
Real quick,
Mhm.
have you guys ever seen Wild Wild West?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, remember in the jungle scene where like those saw blades were like going after? I think it was the kids. The whole family was just running through the
Yeah.
jungle
Mhm.
in this movie. It reminded me of like whenever him and the Will Smith and then the white guy was like out in the desert and those like magnets just kept like
Oh, yeah,
shooting
chasing
at
him.
him.
Right,
It was
yeah.
identical.
Hey, yeah, that is
It
a
was
lot like the
fucking
same thing.
identical.
You're right. This movie
Alright,
did rip off
done.
Wild Wild West.
That's all I wanted to bring up.
All right, that's fair. I'll allow it. That was a good one.
No idea what he's talking about. This movie's fit, in my opinion.
Ooh.
I'm talking about The
Jeez.
Incredibles, not Raging Bull. Please calm
Oh,
down.
you had to bring it up.
Well,
I mean,
any compare anything
I think
to
all the
Raging Bull.
parts of it that it had were necessary. The beginning was showing Mr. Incredible in his heyday, showing him unhappy at work and how unhappy he is at his home life. And then seeing him try to venture out on his own, and then he thinks he's successful, and then that's why he's happy. And then he realizes he's been tricked and isn't happy, and then his family comes. I think it's all necessary. I think it's right on the cusp. I think it's right where it needs to be, and it doesn't need to be 30 seconds longer. I think it's right where it needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm not sure where you take 25 minutes out of this movie other than just to trim down scenes.
I'll show you.
And that's a lot of... That's literally trimming down everything.
Dylan's like, let me drive the bus.
I think,
Yeah.
I wanna
I
drive
think
the boat.
the happy montage stuff deserved to be in there. Like, I don't really see anything as being wrong
If I could video edit, I just would. I would just do this every episode.
You can. It's not hard.
I just don't want to learn. I gotta learn the program, figure out how to
put
cut
it in
scenes
Movie
out.
Maker, and then just cut out the sections.
No, but then I would have to sit there and have to remove some of the scenes around to make some of my because it's gonna be a Dylan cut. Like you
it's
got
gonna be the Camacho cut.
Yeah, it's not just about slashing the fat. You got to put all the intestines and organs.
What you should do? Don't like recut it and show us the movie recut. Only show us what you cut off.
Only show you the fat.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, all right, here's 20 minutes of fat. There you go.
Didn't you guys hate this part?
Yeah.
Didn't you guys hate that part?
yeah.
Like, this doesn't need to be in there, right?
No.
What about this?
And it's just mostly the guns being pointed at Frozone time and time again. And I was like, all right, I got the 18 minutes and just started looping the scene. I won't lie. But
Mason, go for it.
Scores.
All right. So right before I watched this movie, I was trying to think, what would I give this movie from my one experience? Probably in 2005 or 2006, after it had come out. And I figured it was middle of the road. I landed right around there. Let me tell you, before the score, what movies are better than this that just came to mind on my way here?
What?
Ice Age, Monsters, Inc., Big Hero 6, Cars, Ratatouille, WALL-E. I understand that all of those come after this movie, right?
No, I agree. I think the same.
Yeah.
Ice Age is debatable.
I would put Ice Age in the
is
same
the
tier.
bottom of this list.
Yeah.
Okay.
The rest.
I don't put Incredibles below Ice Age.
What was the rest?
You're
of it?
overestimating.
WALL-E, Ratatouille, Monsters, Inc., Big Hero 6.
Oh yeah, I put all
Cars.
those. I put all those except for maybe Cars.
Ice Age is just like a string of scenes put together to be a movie.
Okay, sorry. I don't like Ice Age.
You're like,
that
that's a
much,
movie.
But I
Alright,
do
fine,
like
fine.
it more than this movie. This movie is right at a 7 for me. I was not impressed. What do we always say about animated movies? They start at a 7, and then they probably go up.
Usually.
This movie stopped. It stalled out. It sputtered a little bit, but it got you home. That's all it did.
I'm getting a lot of vitriol from you two on this movie, and I don't know why.
No, it's that is
just the tone that you all are
No.
using is really aggressive.
I'm glad that Price went back to his roots of Megamind, Kung
Right,
Fu
right,
Panda,
right.
because this is, which we don't know the score yet, but like this,
Yeah.
this felt very, like we went back to Homecoming. Like I get it,
Yeah.
but this one,
Meh.
Yeah.
Meh.
I like I'm like laughing. I'm laughing because I had a really similar path, and I think I'm probably just gonna land at like a 7 as well. For most of the same exact reason. I literally was like explaining to Hannah. I was like, animated movies are all like you start at 7 for the most part, at least with Pixar films. I almost want to go under to a 6.5 because I'm trying to remember what I gave Rain of Fire because I definitely had much more fun with Rain of Fire.
See, it's hard to compare like a non.
I know, but then I was like, that's a silly concept.
You
I
think
can't
you
compare
had fun
those
with
two.
Rain of Fire, then you realize you had like 30 minutes of fun with,
Maybe.
with him fighting the
Maybe.
dragon.
No.
And then the other...
Can you check if I gave Rain of Fire 6.5 or 7
The other
later?
hour and a half is just boring scene talking like...
There's a
there may
lot
be
of
dragon
boring,
up
but
there.
by God, the entertainment that
There's
does...
them reenacting Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The highs on Rain of Fire for me are higher than anything in Incredibles, though. Like, that's not even a question.
Incredibles versus Rain of Fire. Please let us know.
You know what?
Then-
when we do bracket
then
2
continue.
Electric Boogaloo, this will be an argument for it. Mark my words. Nathan.
I don't know. I had a fine time with this movie. Didn't really think I was gonna like it very much, but I guess I didn't really like view it as critically as you all might have.
It's
with,
also... was
like,
this your first time watching it, then?
No.
Oh, that's right. No, you
You
said...
gave it a 7.5.
Alright, fine. It's fine. That's 7. My score's
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. Didn't really overstay its welcome. I do feel like I need to rewatch the second one because again, I
You'll just
watched it
forget
where
it.
I could barely.
We all have.
I could barely hear what was going on most of the time.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a genuine go at that one, and this one does a lot of good work to set up
Something.
There's something, yeah.
Yeah.
Surely there has to be a payoff in the
Right?
second one, right?
But yeah, I don't know. I think overall I'd give it an 8. I mean, I thought it was pretty good.
I went in thinking I was gonna give this movie like an 8. I thought all my history, like with animated movies and seeing stuff online that Incredibles talked about over the years, I went in with really high expectations, and I think that really hurt the movie for that. It's just like we said, it's a lot of just like I don't know. It's not meaty. There's not like too much to talk about. It's just, to me, it's like a light popcorn movie with like a hint of seasoning on top, with some like interesting stuff about their marriage.
A
and
Zaxby's level of seasoning, if you will.
and Mr. Incredible's unfulfillment. Like, that stuff's kind of interesting, but it's very under the surface and like not too central to anything. If anything, I like an unlikable protagonist most of the time, but Mr. Incredible seems to be like, you should like him, and you feel for his plight, but I really don't. I just think he's a jerk and doesn't deserve anything he has. Doesn't really hurt too much my opinion of the movie, but there's not much to chew on with this movie. I said it was fit, but that really doesn't matter. That doesn't help the score too much. I'm probably going to go like a 6 with this. It's a little above middle of the road for me, but it doesn't come anywhere close to the
to Ice Age or Cars.
Yeah, to Ice Age or Cars.
Yeah.
Do you like Ice Age more than this movie?
I'd have to watch Ice Age, but based off my memory, Ice Age has some hilarious moments. I still say,
Ray Romano.
Doom on you, Doom on you. Like, the dodo bird scene is top tier comedy.
That's like the Madagascar penguins. Like, that's kind of the equivalent.
Kinda, but almost better, just because they're not there for very long.
Oh yeah,
I love
you don't
them.
get fucking 5 movies with them.
And Ice Age 1 also doesn't have Scrat in
You're right.
a ton.
And
So,
then,
that helps it a lot. But anyway, that's not a debate right now. I'd have to rewatch Ice Age. Haven't seen it in a while. Signing off with a 6.
What's the the critics and everybody else say about this?
Yeah, that was interesting to see too, because critics gave this a 97.
Woo!
Which is really high.
It's
That's-
so old too. Like, I don't get
with
that.
a 75 with audience.
Audience
Wow,
is 75.
somebody likes his critics so much, and that's why he picks The Incredibles at 6.5. Ridiculous.
I went on a 6.
I know, it's insane.
I was 3.5 points away.
It was insane how much this guy lines up with.
I want to
critics.
spin.
No,
Give me
no,
that
you always
spin.
spin badly.
That does not make sense.
Yes, your spins are notoriously the worst movies we've ever had to watch on this one.
I did not do Raging Bull.
You did.
Yeah, you did. That was you.
I didn't
I mean,
spin it. I didn't spin
you
it.
You could have picked a different movie.
Look me up when Baby Driver gets picked.
Devil all the time. Devil all the time.
Frontiers.
Oh,
What?
Fuck.
Frontiers.
God dang it. I almost changed that
That's
too.
What?
Oh,
Do you wanna
that's
change
gonna
it?
be a resounding
No, you can't
good
now.
choice.
Yeah, you can. Do you want to change it?
No, you can't just change it.
Mason, what do you want?
The wheel spins.
Mason, what do you
The-
want?
The wheel chooses.
This could be another Raging Bull. What do you want?
No, I've seen it.
Do you stand by your choice?
Yeah.
You got to do it right now on camera. Do you stand by Frontiers?
Okay, so I watched the trailer for this the other day, and I didn't like the trailer, but I've seen the movie. It's a good movie.
Wait, all right, we'll play it. Let's get the trailer
Let's
then.
get the trailer.
Oh,
You know what?
okay.
You know what?
It's a French movie.
You were so
No!
Yay.
Bryce, you were so close, buddy. Look at that.
Aw, dang it.
You were right there.
Why did
But we
get
almost also got
picked?
retro review.
Not too big a fan of that.
Yeah,
A
well,
nice
all right.
07 movie.
07.
Mason, are you sure you don't want to change?
Let's just
Oh
roll it out.
no, we got French. Hell,
Oh, boy.
Noun.
It is a noun. I'll tell you all about it.
does this have
Oh,
anyone?
yeah, this is silent. I like it.
A situation, place of evil or misery, discord. or
It'll have
destruction.
some subtitles.
Well, I hope so.
Oh, there we go. Boob!
Yeah, this movie hangs boobs though, right?
Yeah.
That's French, it has
some
to.
side boob.
No, a state of separation from God, an exclusion of God, the absence of
It's
God.
second so far.
No, this is pretty tight so far.
You know what? Trailers are notoriously bad
Yeah.
in this group, so
Yeah. Okay, so she gets her haircut. She looks really unhappy about
you don't
it.
want to go to that
Looks
barber.
like she's pooping.
Bad
Oh,
barber.
is this the cube?
Oh, you wish.
I was
buddy.
about to say, it looks like she's dropping into the cube. Like,
You wish.
Yeah, it does.
So does it look this blurry and low res?
It's better than this.
okay.
Like
I hope
quality
so, 'cause
wise.
this is awful.
Can I also say I feel like I manifested this in because we've been making French jokes all week. And
What
we're-
on earth is happening, Mason?
Of course, it's gonna be French horror.
She
You
gets
think-
dropped down to a dinner scene and then she's...
I'm kind of.
I'm interested. I'm
honestly.
interested.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that little part.
Oh,
no!
I'm sorry, Nathan.
Oh, God,
I'm so
no,
sorry.
dude. Wait,
Why you gotta do this?
Is it
Why
always
do
the
the French have
Achilles?
to do this?
For you on that are only seeing us, they just cut a man's Achilles tendon.
With a
With the
With
bolt
like
cutters.
tree limb.
Yeah, tree limb.
Oh, was
cutter,
it?
yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
This movie looks like a lot.
Yeah, this movie looks extra as fuck, and I'm here
What
for
is
it.
happening?
Jesus.
Oh! Mason,
Oh.
how do you even know this movie?
I'll tell you guys in the next
Welcome
review.
to hell.
I will let you guys know how I came about this movie next time.
Okay.
Uncut. Yeah, it better be.
Good.
And it looks like they're getting pretty
I would
cut.
rather watch.
Uncensored.
Please give
Yeah,
me
better
the
be.
cut and censored and rated.
Rated.
version.
No.
I don't have the stomach for these fucking movies.
That gotta be you at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Ah!
I like that it's Frontier. Parentheses.
Yeah.
Because there may be more than one.
Oh god.
Mason, is this murder porn? Are you
No,
making
it's
us
not
watch
that-
murder
It's not
porn?
that. It's got substance. It does. It has a.
You got one last chance before we sign off
No,
to
we-
change the movie.
No,
No,
we've watched the
no,
trailer at this
this
point.
is
now.
it now.
That's it.
All right,
We ain't watched a new trailer.
you've lost your chance. You only got one chance. You missed it. It's your time to blow.
So make sure to tune in
Mom.
This
Spaghetti.
moment. Own it.
next week for Frontier.
Remember Dutch one?
Yes. It's a French film, so there's gonna be nudity and gore, because
That's
And hatred
Mason's
from
thing.
Mason.
that's Mason's.
That's what Mason likes to do.
Mason likes nudity and murder.
We watched Raw like 3 years ago, and it's still talked about to this day.
I-
This could be another Raw.
I want that to be the retro review next time, to be honest.
No.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm trying to speak it back into existence
You know,
without saying
yeah.
a word.
If that happens, I will have somebody sub out for me. Somebody else can say what
Okay.
they
Can we
think.
sub in Jill or Annabeth, and then I'll sub in like Hannah?
That'd be someone who
or-
hasn't seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll sub in Kel.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Yeah,
Just
right
like
for a
me.
review where it's just like
And
It's us and then three of the
Yeah.
women that we can find.
We'll
to
put
watch
Baja in your spot.
it. So anyway, guys, make sure to tune in next week for Frontiers. If you like the content we're doing, make sure to let us know what you like or dislike in the comments below. You can hit that dislike button, but we aren't going to look at it. We only look at the thumbs up. And then make sure to hit the bell, Nathan. To make sure you know when we put up all these sweet videos that we put in all the time and energy to go watch these movies, so you may not even have to. But we encourage you to watch some of them. We'll tell you next week how Frontiers lands. Until then, bye guys!
Bye.
It's very gender specific of you.
Man.
Women, men, and undetermined.
There you go. That's better.
Yeah.